This is my review of The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, and this will have spoilers. But I wanted to give you a synopsis of this show if you haven't seen it yet. So I'm on Wikipedia right now, and it says the plot here. In the summer of 1992, Hugh and Olivia Crane, along with their children, Steve, Shirley, Theodora, Luke, and Eleanor, temporarily move into Hill House while they renovate the mansion, then sell it at a profit and build their own house as designed by the mother, Olivia. However, unexpected repairs necessitate the lengthening of their stay. At the same time, they begin to experience increasing paranormal phenomena that results in a tragic loss and the family fleeing from the house. 26 years later, the Crane siblings and their estranged father reunite after tragedy strikes again, and they are all forced to confront how their time in Hill House had affected each of them. Now into my review, now into my notes. This was a family drama at the center with horror movie trappings. This felt like a play, especially the scenes in the funeral home. Great performances by the cast as a whole, who for the most part I didn't know, except for Timothy Hutton, Carla Gugino, and Henry Thomas. The kid actors, specifically the young girl who played Nell, she was very cute. I scratched my head at times at how she can remember so many lines. She was very young, and like I said, this amazed me. Now, this same character, Nell, she was the heart of the show. And Victoria Pedretti, who played the character in the adult version of Nell, her romance with Arthur made me tear up. The Bent Neck Lady episode was one of the best of this season of Hill House. So she was the anchor. She was the heart. She was fantastic, and I've never seen this actress before as well, but she was really, really good. The show had imagery which definitely gave me trouble sleeping. I'm all into like seeing horror movies, but I often have trouble sleeping afterwards, where the images of what I see just stay with me, and I have to sleep with a little nightlight on, FYI, full disclosure. I love the time travel aspect with the ghosts in the show, how family members can see other dead family members at different times throughout their lives. The ghosts are tormented souls trying to get a message across to the living. I really like this, and how sometimes Nell's ghost would show up at different times of her life. Like the adult version of her dead self would show up to Nell in her when she was alive. I really like that. Like I said, that was all from that one Bent Neck Lady episode, which like I said, is the best episode. It really was fantastic, in my opinion. I found myself wishing to stay more so in the present day story and not so much in the past, like with the family, Henry Thomas, Carla Gugino, and the kids. I remember the TV show Lost making this kind of like flashback device in the show Popular, where it would be the present day episode, and then in Lost, and I'm talking about Lost, it would be the present day episode, and then it would kind of flash back to the origins of the character, or why they're making these decisions in present day, right? Another show which currently does this is Arrow. Arrow, I know, adopted this, and they do this for many episodes as well. They do this flashback thing. I do recognize that the show needs this to introduce and tie threads together between the Crane family and past events, and these occurrences which emotionally and mentally jack up the family's well-being, their mental well-being, well into their adulthood. So I see the importance of it, but I wasn't crazy about it. I just kind of wanted to stay in the present day. I discovered midway through the season that director Mike Flanagan he did Oculus, he did Gerald's Game on Netflix, which I've heard is good, but I haven't seen it yet. He did Ouija, Origin of Evil, and he's also doing the upcoming sequel to The Shining, which is called Dr. Sleep. Mike Flanagan, he was the showrunner for this show. That makes sense. He was a showrunner for this show. Great job, Mr. Flanagan, because like I said, this was a surprise. I heard like the buzz about the show, and then I turned it on, and I just stayed glued for the whole season. The house shows you what you emotionally desire, and I'm talking about Hill House, which is, I would guess, the main character of this entire series. I mean, it's named after the house, but the house is the main, I guess. All of the family members experience this when they return to the house. So, like I said, the house shows you what you emotionally desire. When everybody kind of returns, they start to see these images of what they desire inside the house. These were some of the best scenes too. Like I said, in that Bent Neck Lady episode, the whole backstory, or like Nell seeing her husband who died and like them dancing together, like I said, it made me emotional. Or so many of the scenes with the kids and them discovering different things and ghosts and seeing crazy stuff in the house. Or like Henry Thomas finding an old cadaver, like a skeleton behind the wall. And it just kind of kept making this weird noise. And like, where's this noise coming from? So as much as I wanted to stay in the present, in the past, they did have some of the best stuff in the show they did. Or some of the scenes, no, I'm confusing it, I'm sorry. The scenes where the house showed some of the characters' deepest desires, those are some of the best scenes. Like they showed, I think it was Steve, when he went back to the house, like he was having this like dream about it, being there with his wife, his ex-wife, or like he dreamed that they got back together, and then she just starts to change and turn gray, and all this stuff starts coming out of her pregnant belly. It's just like horror stuff, but it was very cool. So very cool imagery during these scenes. That doesn't have anything to do with the past, like I was confusing it before, I'm sorry. Shirley or Steven absolutely did not believe in ghosts, and everyone else did, and I find that hard to believe when they've seen what they've seen as they were kids in the house. So I was just like, how can you not believe in ghosts as adults when you lived in this house for X amount of time and you see all this crazy stuff? I don't understand. But this show doesn't need a second season with these same characters. But another family maybe, or an origin story of the house. A lot of Hollywood horror movie producers, they tend to do this origin story, the background, right, of the character. But there's several ways to go here, but I'm sure that with the popularity of this show, they will make a second season. And if you don't mind heavy family drama with your horror, then this is a perfect show for you. The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.